Most people spend their entire lives somewhere they've never actually been. Not a country, not a city, a time. A version of reality that no longer exists, or one that hasn't happened yet. And here's what makes that so strange. Your body is here, right now. But the part of you that makes decisions, that feels things, that shapes who you are, it's almost never here. Scientists have been quietly studying this for decades, and what they found about the human mind is both unsettling and quietly liberating. Your brain was not designed to live in the present. That's not a flaw. It was a survival strategy. Early humans who replayed dangerous events in their minds were more likely to avoid making the same mistake twice. Those who mentally rehearsed future threats were more likely to prepare in time. The mind became a time machine, and it saved our species. But something happened as the world got safer and more complex. The machine kept running, even when there was nothing to fear and nowhere to prepare for. We inherited a brain built for the ancient world, and we're running it in a reality it was never designed for.
Research in cognitive science has shown that the average person's mind wanders nearly half of all waking hours. Not daydreaming pleasantly, but drifting to regrets about the past or anxieties about the future without any conscious intention. What's more striking is that people consistently report lower levels of happiness during those wandering moments, regardless of what they're actually doing. A person walking in a park, fully present, feels better than a person on vacation, mentally rehearsing an argument from last week. The activity matters far less than where the mind is. There's a concept in neuroscience called the default mode network. It's a collection of brain regions that switch on when you're not focused on any immediate task. For a long time, scientists thought this network was simply the brain idling, like a car engine humming in a parking lot. But they were wrong. The default mode network is extraordinarily active. It's generating simulations, running through memories, imagining futures, building narratives about who you are and what the world expects of you. It is the part of the brain responsible for the story you tell yourself about your life, and it almost never sets that story in the present tense.
The ancient Stoic philosophers understood something about this long before brain imaging existed. They wrote about what they called the only moment of power a person ever truly has. Not yesterday, which is sealed, and not tomorrow, which is uncertain, but right now. In a different part of the world, Buddhist monks were arriving at the same conclusion through observation and practice. They called this quality of present moment awareness mindfulness, and they spent lifetimes refining ways to cultivate it. These weren't escapists or mystics avoiding real life. They were people who noticed, with remarkable clarity, that most human suffering is generated not by circumstances, but by mental time travel.
Modern psychology has since put numbers to what those ancient thinkers intuited. Studies on attention and emotional regulation have found that the ability to anchor awareness to the present moment is one of the strongest predictors of long-term psychological resilience. It's associated with lower stress hormones, better decision-making, stronger immune response, and deeper satisfaction in relationships. And the most fascinating part? It isn't a personality trait you either have or don't. It's a capacity, like a muscle. One that atrophies with neglect and strengthens with use. The brain physically changes in response to where you repeatedly place your attention. That's not a metaphor. That's neuroplasticity.
What makes presence so difficult isn't weakness or lack of discipline. It's that the modern world has been engineered, piece by piece, to pull the mind out of the present moment. Every notification, every scroll, every recommendation algorithm is built around capturing future anticipation or triggering memory and emotion. The architecture of daily life trains the default mode network to stay constantly active, constantly spinning its simulations. In that environment, returning the mind to now isn't passive. It's almost a counterculture act. It requires something that feels increasingly rare, the willingness to simply be where you already are. There's a quiet revolution in understanding what it means to be human in time. Not to erase the past, it shaped everything you are. Not to ignore the future, it deserves preparation. But to stop living exclusively in those two places, while the present, the only place life actually happens, passes by unoccupied. Every person who has ever looked back at a chapter of their life and said, "I wish I had been more present for that," already knows this truth. They learned it the only way most people do, by leaving. The invitation, if there is one, is simply to arrive a little earlier next time.